Hey there, welcome back to K-Korner, your go-to spot for wild, unbelievable, and absolutely true tales from around the globe. I'm your host, Crown, here to take you on another journey through the twists and turns of life's most fascinating stories. So grab your favorite snack, settle in, and let's dive into today's roller coaster of emotions, drama, and unexpected turns. Remember, if you enjoy our content, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more amazing stories. Let's get started. Hi gang, get ready for a crap story. Last year my girlfriend and me decided to attend a family Christmas festivity, despite more or less not feeling like it and somewhat knowing better. Family on my side, by the way, it was my now late mother who insisted we should go because the family had organized a big party. Would also provide dinner and she figured this would be a fun distraction for us. Also because we never really went out for dinner that entire year despite somewhat wanting to. Now the event itself was more fun than I would have given it credit for. We had fun interactions with some cousins and some of their spouses, and in the overall, we had a good time. The incident. The problem started during dinner. During said dinner, it got announced that there would be a huge fireworks at the end of the party, all set up by three of my cousins who I sometimes refer to as Nollers. Boomers, I think, because they are kinda obsessed with fireworks, and I'm not a fan. Never have been. Don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with being passionate about something and sometimes taking things a little bit too far. As long as you keep things reasonable, at the very least mind others, which is something I don't think they do. See, my cousin's hobby even made the local news a few times. 100 kilograms illegal fireworks got confiscated from a house. Fireworks packs were even found under the bed. Yeah, obviously the authorities had no clue what they were talking about, and obviously things were fully under control. The regulations were at fault, most surely not them. Several years ago I once raised the question, yeah, but what if a fire will break out? To which I was told, that never happens. Yeah, no point in arguing that level of ignorance. So after the announcement, the conversations during dinner went a bit towards the fireworks. Convos went back and forth and suddenly one of the spouses asked my girlfriend if I ever did something with fireworks, to which my girlfriend said no, but we do have a bit of an in-game fireworks tradition. When asked what she meant, my girlfriend explained that during New Year's Eve, we used to hack our Minecraft game so that the in-game clock would sync with the real-world local time, during which we'd set up some in-game fireworks and effects, which would then launch during 12 AM sharp. For the record, my girlfriend and me are in our 50s. The woman who asked her was intrigued and thought it was a fun thing to do, but it got quickly met with snide condescending comments from her husband. Minecraft? What the hell? That's a kid's game. How old are you two? Who are you to compare our work to that crap? To which his wife immediately retorted, Josh, that's not what she said. But this started the beginning of the end. When another, also obviously drunk cousin told us that, you guys are pathetic, that has nothing to do with fireworks. How old are you? I kinda lost my cool. Also, well, under the influence I felt no hesitation in snapping back. Well, beyond the age where children mock others for their hobbies, seems an achievement not everyone here managed to accomplish. That sure riled them up. It got even funny when Josh, told us that hobbies or not, it was still stupid to be playing kids' games, considering our age, to which I told him that, in this kid's game, some people even managed to build fully working 8-bit computers, to which my girlfriend told me to hush and keep my cool. She realized that I was also quite tipsy and things did cool down a little bit after that. Until another relative, nice guy in his 16s or such I think, suddenly yelled out, oh my god, Uncle Shell wasn't kidding. Would you look at this? The guy had grabbed his phone and looked it up, and he came up with several YouTube videos. The funny thing here is that this guy was a grad student and his parents were really proud of him, and then he's the only one to yell out in sheer admiration. Yeah, for the record, the fireworks afterwards were fun to look at, no question about it, but the following loads of snide remarks afterwards made us decide to leave the party early, and well, screw that. So 2 weeks ago I got an email from an aunt of mine, which was odd because I never had much contact with that side of the family. Not before the Christmas festivities last year and most definitely not afterwards. As it turned out, my two cousins got into an accident, quite severe. They were hospitalized and you need to call me to talk about visiting hours so that we can set up the schedule. I ignored said email because I had zero interest in visiting them. Also because it's an easy 2-hour drive, but did send out an email of my own to wish them well. Then last weekend, 1 week ago, I got a phone call. Hey Shell, why haven't you called me? Anyway, we set up the schedule without you. You need to visit the hospital Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday evening. We expect you at 7 p.m. sharp. Don't complain about the time, that's your fault for not calling me. I listened and I couldn't help but plain out laugh it out. Yeah, good luck with that. You can count me out though. Which was met with several rude remarks. How dare I turn my back on my cousins who obviously needed my support? Do they, or is it you who's trying to force a break for yourself? I asked. And that obviously hit a nerve. As it turned out, my cousins were messing around with obviously not illegal fireworks yet long before it's even legal to use that stuff. It literally blew up on them, not going into too much details for obvious reasons, but one is now missing a hand and the other an eye, and those got lost in the process. And we're not talking about kids here, but grown-up guys, I think, who are well in their 30s. 2 days ago, I got a new email, now telling me that the new schedule has been prepped and I'm expected to go visit my cousins upcoming Tuesday, second Christmas Day. Wednesday and Friday on 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. to make up for last week. It was followed by, it's all your fault this happened, you know, because people like you never believed in their amazing capabilities and always needed to talk down on them. To which I sent back an email with a picture of the universal salute and plugged P-involved email addresses entirely. Figured I'd vent a little about it in here. It has been going on for months now. Karen, our neighbor, has been pestering us to sell our house to her. She was convinced that she had to have that particular spot and wouldn't take no for an answer. At first, we tried to be polite and just told her we weren't interested in selling. But she kept insisting, becoming more and more demanding with each passing day. It was starting to get really annoying. Come on, just sell it to me, Karen would say. I'll give you a good price. You won't find a better offer anywhere else. But we weren't interested in selling. Just as simple as that. Our house was our home and we didn't want to leave. And things took a turn for the worse. Karen started trying to scare us into selling. She would bang on the walls late at night and make strange noises. She even went so far as to leave creepy notes on our doorstep. I'll do whatever it takes to get this house. One of the notes read, you better watch your back. We were at our wits' end. We had no idea what to do to make her stop. One night I was awakened by a loud noise. I sat up in bed and saw a figure standing at the foot of it, wearing a clown mask and holding a sharp knife. Wearing a clown mask and holding a sharp knife. I let out a scream as the figure lunged at me. But my husband was prepared. He grabbed the baseball bat that he kept by the bed for just such an occasion and swung it with all his might at the figure. And there was a loud thud as the bat connected with the person's head, and they crumbled to the ground in a heap. My husband turned on the light to reveal Karen, our neighbor, lying unconscious on our bedroom floor. We were in shock. Karen had been pestering us for months to sell her our house, but we had always refused. We had no idea that she would go to such lengths to get what she wanted. The police arrived within minutes and arrested Karen. As they were taking her away, she kept screaming that she was just trying to scare us off and that she wasn't really trying to kill us. I was just trying to get you to sell the house, she yelled. You wouldn't listen to me, so I had to do something drastic. I wasn't really going to hurt anyone, but the police didn't believe her. They charged her with attempted murder and she was taken away in handcuffs. In the end, Karen was convicted and sentenced to 5 years in prison. We were relieved that justice had been served and grateful that we were able to move on from the whole ordeal. But we knew that we would always have to be on guard in the future, just in case something like this ever happens again. Don't worry, the bat's hit didn't kill her. She just got a concussion and was treated on site by the paramedics. Clearly, it wasn't that hard of a hit after all. Hey guys, so this just finished with my friends Adam and Bill, and I'm still laughing at the audacity of their neighbor. A couple of years ago, Adam and Bill settled in a neighborhood in their home estate, an hour from their hometown. Part of what attracted them to this house was a beautiful white oak tree that grew in the front yard. Estimated to be about 100 years old, the tree is a fixture in the neighborhood, and to their neighbor, 3 houses down, it was something special. This neighbor, Karen, was about 10 or so years older than they are and is a die-hard environmentalist. There is nothing wrong with this, but this neighbor took hugging trees to a whole new level. Her first sentence to Adam and Bill, a few days after they moved in, was, "You're going to take good care of Stanley, right?" "Stanley?" Adam asked, confused. "The tree, that's its name." "Oh," Bill said, laughing nervously. "I wasn't aware it had a name." "Well, it does, and I hope you will make sure nothing happens to it," Karen said in a somewhat threatening tone. Bill and Adam are former army and police respectively, so they weren't intimidated, but they realized this neighbor might be nuttier than a squirrel's pantry. According to Bill. Later, they were talking to a different neighbor about Karen, and the neighbor just rolled her eyes and said, "Karen's harmless. Just squawks when someone accidentally drops their trash on the sidewalk or something like that." It became something of a joke between Adam and Bill to say hi to Stanley. Fast forward to last spring, while the other trees in the neighborhood sprouted leaves, Stanley remained barren. Adam and Bill hired a respected arborist to come in to see what was wrong and to hopefully fix the tree. Unfortunately, according to him, the tree was dead, so Stanley had to be cut down. Bill and Adam alerted their neighbors and assured everyone that they would plant a new white oak tree in its place. They also checked with the county and the city to make sure they didn't have to file paperwork, got a report from the arborist, and hired the company to cut down the tree. Basically, dot their I's and cross their T's. They learned from their many years in their careers to document. Stanley is cut down and the stump dug up to make room for the new white oak coming. That night, Adam and Bill are watching TV when Bill happens to look outside. There is a figure lying on a spot where the tree stood, but it's too dark to make out who it is. Adam gets a flashlight and his phone and heads out. Lying on the spot, sobbing profusely, is Karen. Adam, uncomfortable, asks if something is wrong, and she tells him to go away. He is not in a mood for confrontation and just asks her to leave. She says, "I'll stay as long as I need to grieve." Worried he is dealing with crazy, Adam calls a non-emergency number, and at this, Karen just scurries off. Karen starts acting crazy. She wears all black for several days, has a large picture of the tree in her front window, and will glare at Adam and Bill as they worked in the yard. She doesn't do anything illegal, but Adam and Bill invest in a security system with several cameras just in case. Bill has something of a green thumb and decided to plant a vegetable garden. One summer day, she and Adam returned from running several errands, only to find the vegetable garden gone. All that was left was the upturned dirt. Adam and Bill check the security footage, and to their utter shock, they see Karen uprooting their vegetables, potting them and moving them to her house. They call the police and they head over to Karen's house. There was Karen planting the stolen vegetables in her backyard. When confronted, she says, "They didn't take care of Stanley, so I'm taking care of them." You're a bit right, folks. She felt that she was entitled to them because of something that happened out of Adam and Bill's control. Adam and Bill give the officer "you don't get paid enough for this" looks before the officer says, "Ma'am, you did steal from them. They just want their plants back. Otherwise, they will press charges." At this, Karen becomes irate, and it's not until she's reminded that the officer has a body cam that assaulting him will be a dumb idea that she agrees to give back the plants. She glares at Adam and Bill as they take back the plants. They get a police report and add it to their paperwork. Not long afterwards, Bill and Adam get a court summons. Yep, Karen had decided to sue them for emotional and property damages, all for cutting down the tree. Their lawyer laughed as he looked at the letter, saying there is no way this would fly before a judge, especially with all the evidence. He sent Karen's lawyer a letter saying as much, saying that if she did go ahead with this suit, that he will go after them for court/lawyer fees for wasting everyone's time. No dice. Karen dug in her heels and court date was set. The judge let Karen and her lawyer argue for close to an hour about what Adam and Bill had done to her, and how Stanley was an innocent soul who deserved its chance to live. They don't deserve the chance to even care for a child. All the time the judge was looking like she didn't know whether to laugh or roll her eyes, but she let Karen dig her own grave. When Karen and her lawyer finish, the judge turns to Adam, Bill, and their lawyer, asking if they had a counter-argument. They present the paperwork from the arborist, the city/county, the video of her stealing their vegetable plants, the police report, and everything. The judge looks over everything before looking at Karen and her lawyer. He says, "I'll keep this brief. I've been a judge for close to 30 years and have seen many cases brought to the bench. And this has to be the most ridiculous case I've ever heard in my career." She ruled in Bill and Adam's favor, and Karen had to pay court and lawyer's fees. After chewing Karen out for wasting everyone's time, Karen put her house up for sale and hasn't been seen much in the neighborhood. Next spring, after the soil has a chance to heal from the nutrients Stanley sapped up, Adam and Bill plan to plant the new white oak tree. They are thinking of naming it Karen. I have a 27-year-old daughter. She has 6 kids ranging in age from 10 years to 11 months. There are 3 different fathers. She receives child support from 2 of them and is still with a third, with whom she has been with for 5 years. My daughter works part-time and her fiancé is a full-time chef. They have lived with us for the past year and a half after being evicted from their last home. The kids and they occupy our upstairs bedrooms. There are 2, but that's still crowded for 6 children. They are constantly asking me for help with phone bills. My husband and I have asked for no rent so they could save money to get a home, but I don't believe they are doing so. I have put up with loud noises throughout all hours and waking up at different times to cater to the children because I love my grandchildren. I never complain to my daughter because I believe family is very important. However, my children are all grown up. My youngest moved out 4 years ago, and my husband and I had hopes to remodel our home. We didn't expect them to be living here this long. On Christmas Eve, my daughter gathered us all and announced that they were expecting baby number 7. Everyone was excited, but I felt dread. That would mean another child in our already crowded house. I looked over at my husband and I could tell he felt the same. We discussed it later and decided we would have to ask them to move out. Last night at dinner, I brought it up with my daughter and her boyfriend. We told them they have 2 months to find a place because we cannot accommodate another child here. My daughter started crying, saying she couldn't believe I would throw her out on the streets for having a baby, that it was completely unfair and not enough time. I told her that I was sorry, it was painful for me as well, but these living conditions were unsustainable. She demanded more time or she'd go to the courts. I reminded her that the courts typically only give you 30 days. She then accused me of making her and my grandchildren homeless because I was selfish. She made a Facebook post asking for rooms to rent because she's pregnant, has nowhere to go, and her family doesn't care about her. Am I the jerk? And now some comments on the post. Someone saying, "You're not the jerk, but you handled this poorly. You should have never have waited until she got pregnant to tell her that was a deal breaker for you. If 6 kids weren't a deal breaker, how was she to know a 7th would be? You're setting her up for failure here. She's making terrible decisions. She's a mess of a human. But you've been enabling this for far too long, and now you'll have 7 homeless grandchildren when you could have nipped it in the bud 5 to 6 grandchildren ago. Are you prepared to take in your grandchildren if CPS removes them from her care?" Another commenter adds, "Not the jerk. She's taking advantage of you and your husband, who has 7 kids with no house of their own. Out your parents in a terrible position, and if they are asking for you to pay their phone bills, they absolutely were not saving up for a place of their own." A third commenter goes with, "Not the jerk. 2 months is reasonable when they should have already been saving for a place of their own. She's 27 with 6, soon to be 7 kids. Not a scared teenager pregnant for the first time. They know what causes pregnancy, yet continue to have more children they can't afford to house on their own. It would have been good for more boundaries to be set sooner, but at the same time, I doubt you thought they would be having more kids and expecting to extend their free stay in your home." Wow, what a ride that was! Thanks for joining me here at K-Korner. I hope these stories left you amazed and entertained. If you've got your own tale to share, drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our daily adventures. This is Crown, signing off.